Single forever till I met you. Usually don't be falling fast. You got a way of keeping me calm.
Good day, everyone, especially to our professor, Ma'am Merly C. Fontanilla. I am Merly A. Abituela, Teacher 2 from Claudio Villahen Elementary School. We are in our Group 6. I am the first discussant. My topic is all about children with behavioral problems. But before we proceed to my topic, we have here my objectives. The first one is the introduction about the behavioral problems, the definition of terms, the causes of behavioral disorder, the types of behavioral problem, the descriptions of behavioral disorder, and how to deal with the students' misbehavior and effective ways to calm an angry child. And after that, we have here the conclusion. What is a normal behavior for a child? When we say a normal behavior in a child, depends on their child's age, their personality, their physical, their emotional development. A child's behavior may be a problem if doesn't match the expectation of the family or if it is disruptive. So, a normal or good behavior is usually determined whether it's socially, culturally, and developmentally appropriate. Knowing what to expect from your child at each age will help you decide whether his or her behavior is normal. So remember, no child has a perfect behavior. Your child's doctor, the preschool, and the schools will be helpful in setting the expectation for your child and his or her age and development. When a child cannot adjust to complex environment around them, they become unable to behave in the socially acceptable, what resulting is exhibition, a peculiar behavior, or that is known as a behavioral problem. So, the definition of term. What is the definition of term for the behavioral problem? So, when we say the behavioral problem in a child are not disease entities, but as symptoms or the reaction caused by emotional disturbance or environmental maladjustment. It is a symptoms, expression of emotional or interpersonal maladjustment, especially in child as by nail biting, racist, negativism, or by antisocial acts. So, behavioral disorders include many tension, reducing activities that appear during childhood at a various level of development. Some of these habits development from adults through imitation, whereas other as purposeful mode. So, what are the causes of behavioral problems in children? So, we have here, the first one is a poor parental guidance, family problem, inadequate family environment, mentally and physically sick or handicapped condition, peer pressure, influence of mass media, and then the influence of social change. When we say a poor parental guidance, it means that a poor parental guidance, it is common nowadays that both parents are working and they have a little or no time at all with their children. This can result to juvenile delinquency as students are not properly supervised by their parents. They cannot be informed if their actions are right or wrong. Parents cannot observe their children's behavior and correct them if necessary. Because of this, children have the perception that they are free to do what they wish and that all their actions are acceptable. So for number 2, the family problem. These are common factors affecting students' behavior. Students who are expecting family problems tend to behave differently at school. They may release their anger by fighting with their other classmates, or they may have difficulties concentrating on their subject. For number 3, inadequate family environment. Your child's personality can be affected if the environment is scanty, noisy, and filled with aggregation. Having too many people in your family can also lead your child's to get divided attention, due to which they can seek out alternative forms of attention. Okay, for number 4, we have a mentally and physically sick or handicapped condition. Mental can be affect emotional thoughts and behavior. They always feel sad or down, confused, thinking or reduce the ability to concentrate, have excessive fears or worries, or have extreme feelings of guilt. Inability to cope with their daily problems or stress or trouble understanding and releasing to a situation and to people. Another one is for number 5, peer pressure. Once a student enter school, they have to make friends and avoid being lonely or outcast. They need to have a sense of belonging. However, their choice of circle of friends is not always favorable. It is common among teenagers to want to belong to a group. Some would want to belong to famous groups, and this is where the problem starts. Groups often fight at the school or bully others. Some may not want to fight, but because the leader of a group said so, they are forced or encouraged just to stay in the group. Okay, for number 6, the influence of mass media. How does the social media affects behavior? People who use social media frequently have increased level of negative emotion such as envy, and isolation. How does this happen? The tendency of others to distort reality and their social media can cause some to feel that everyone else has a better life than the viewer. So, the social media platforms are the major factors that is leading to distraction and hindrance of the mind. This day, students tend to lose their attention from studying and rather enjoy browsing on the social media. All of this leads to waste of time without learning anything from it. Children nowadays are great imitators of the way of dressing, the attitude, the action, the language of their idols, even if it is bad or not. For the last factors that influence is the influence of social media. It has a negatively affects teens, distracting them, disrupting their sleep, and exposing them to bullying. Rumor is spreading, unrealistic views of others people's life, and peer pressure. Teens also use a social media for entertainment and the self-expressions. Excessive time using their gadgets like cell phones can also change their behavior. They are also angry and they will not use their cell phone. So what are the signs and the symptoms of abnormal behavior in children? So children are cute when naughty. A few tantrums, arguments, and yellings once in a while are not abnormal. But if such behavior become a daily occurrence, this is a cause for concern that a child seems have difficulty managing their emotion. They have a frequent emotional outburst and a minor things bother them. So what are the symptoms? Okay, it is normal if your 8-year-old become impulsive and display destructive behavior like hitting, like throwing things, screaming, or etc. So you're otherwise talkative and withdraws into a shell, talks back and seems rude for no reason. Another reason is that symptoms for abnormal behavior, your child may be lying more often than you realize, stealing or talking things that do not belong to them become a habit. Your child's behavior is affecting their performance at school. For instance, your child may be getting into fights, going late to class, or missing classes or cutting classes. Spat and disagreements. Your 7-year-old has with peers become problems that affect their social life. So what are the types of behavior problems? The first one is conduct disorder. When we say conduct disorder, it is characterized by a behavior pattern wherein the child tends to violate others' rights hurt animals, destroy property. This disorder can cause a serious issues as the child here may indulge in criminal activity. What are the causes? The causes are the genetic factors, physical or emotional abuse, neglect, brain damage, parental mental illness, domestic violence, maybe divorce, maybe poverty, and the traumatic experience. Okay, what are the symptoms? The symptoms for the conduct disorders are often threatens and bullies other, often gets involved or initiate fight, possess weapon that can seriously harm others. Another is being cruel to animals, indulge in stealing, lies to gain favor. They are deliberately destroying things that belong to others. And then, a tendency of running away from home. Yung staying out night despite restrictions and prohibitions from parents. TG for the conduct disorder. So, keep in contact with the student support team and parent. Another, one-on-one attention is important. Avoid the triangle game, the power struggle, and the situation for debates. Avoid power struggles. Provide choices that you made and have the limits. And then, provide a structured environment with clear, consistent routines and expectations. Keep work periods manageable. Keep downtime busy. Do not take things personally. Try not to show any signs of anger, yung hurt, or frustrations. For number 2 types of child's behavior problem is the oppositional deficit disorder. What is the oppositional deficit disorder? Okay, oppositional deficit disorder or ODD is characterized by very angry, irritable mood, and argument behavior. It is destructive behavior that commonly affect children. If this is persistent for at least 6 months, then the child will be diagnosed with ODD. So what are the causes for this ODD? First one is a living environment. The domestic violence, the neglect, poor parental guidance, death or divorce, substance abuse, the biological and the psychological factors maybe play a role as well. So, what are the symptoms for the ODD? Okay, the symptoms are frequently losing temper, gets angry, laging galit, throws tantrums, outbursts frequently, and has a low or no self-esteem. Gets annoyed easily, often arguing with other people in authority, does not listen or comply with any request, then of others for their mistakes, often tends to annoy others. Okay, what are the strategy for the ODD? So the strategy for the ODD, decide what behavior are most significant and focus on this first. And then, Create a behavior intervention plan. Consistency, structures, and routine. Clear and non-negotiable rules and expectation. And then, try to keep the student fully occupied and avoid downtime. Daily schedule may be helpful. Instruction and work time should be manageable. Avoid time test and assignment. Give choices with limits, and then try to get the student a sense of ownership or connection by giving them errands or classroom responsibility. Giving them a classroom responsibility, or it may be a reward system. For number 3, attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder. So what is the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or what we call the ADHD? It is characterized by a pattern of inattention, hyperactive, and impulse behavior. Here are the child may appear extremely energetic, and this tends to interfere with the normal development of the child. Okay, what will be the symptoms for the ADHD? Okay, difficulty in staying focused on tasks. And then, the second one is failing to complete the task due to a lack of concentration. Often tends to lose things. Is forgetful of the common tasks. Always fidgeting or shaking hands or legs. Unable to relax and stay calm. They are talkative. Often tends to interrupt others when talking to doing a task, and then tends to get involved in activities without thinking of the consequences. Okay, another topic is all about how to deal with students' behavior. So, the educators to high authority, when we say the ABCD, I cannot teach in class ABCD. Student XYZ disturb whole class. He doesn't not allow to deliver lesson in the class. It affects the performance of a good students. So what are the activities for the X, Y, and Z in the class? So, they are talk too much in the class. Disturb student who sit beside them. Or ask silly questions. Ask unethical questions which embarrass me or them. Shares unethical things with his friends. Throw chalks of his friends. Break the student's table. Steal his friend's pen or paper or pencil. And then does not return his friend's notebook. Always reaches class late. Sometimes bunks in class. Goes outside several times from classroom for washroom and drinking water. And then does not follow teacher's instruction. So generally, it is observed student misbehavior occur due to, okay, what will be the result? A poor performance limitations in reading and writing as well as understanding of text or topic. Poor performance in overall academic. Poor performance of educators in the classroom. Poor management of educators in classroom. Unrealistic expectation from the students. High expectation of society. High patterns of expectation and pressure. Hyper expectation and pressure. Unfollow of emotion. Negligence in the classroom. Deep desire to get attention. And then utter frustration if fails to get desired things. Ask so many questions at a time. And then tries to irritate the teacher.
Obviously, children learn a lot about feelings at home by observing their family members. They also learn from the response they get when they express feelings. So, placing values on feelings, teaching children what to feel and what not to feel can do great harm. So children constantly receive unspoken message about how to reach to situation through adult facial expressions, the body language, the postures, and even muscle tone. The adult's job is to teach the children to recognize and express their feeling, especially anger. The idea is for the children to express the feeling fully and to work through. Teach young children to express angry feeling without hurting anyone or anything is a goal for every educators. So accepting and labeling the feeling, redirecting the energy, and helping the child get it out. Calming the energy, soothing the chaos, avoiding a reward for anger, teaching problem solving. And also, we have the strategy on how to cope with the feelings or the emotions of our children. That is what we call the rerun. When we say rerun, is R refers to reflect, E explain, R reason, and U understand, and N negotiate. That is the strategy on how to deal the emotion of children, especially with children with special needs. That's all my report, and thank you for listening.